Have you been an activist for a while?
I've never been an activist.
No.
I'm active. I mean, what is the definition of an activist?
I think you're always conscious that it's a response to things that are unjust.
I'm solution-based, not problem-stuck.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, what are we going to do about it?
Agreed.
You know, and I stay in my lane. So for that reason, I am proud of a film like Rome in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as in my where I am in life now, I'm in service, and I'm trying to be an advocate for good and change and in thought, deed, and action.
Denzel Washington destroys fake news culture with one brutal truth. In an era where headlines spread faster than facts, Denzel Washington delivered one of the most powerful media critiques ever caught on camera. What started as a casual moment quickly turned serious when the topic of fake news came up. Denzel didn't sugarcoat a thing. He spoke with sharp clarity and conviction. It wasn't just a soundbite. It was a full-blown reality check for modern journalism and its obsession with speed over truth.
A lot of buzz about this fake news. You were the subject of a fake news story.
Oh yeah, what they say? I was running for president. No, I voted. No, what they say?
You switched your support.
I switched.
What
Yeah.
do you make of all the fake news and it affects
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
So what do you do?
That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it. Anything you practice, you'll get good at, including BS.
Denzel breaks the blame narrative. During a powerful interview about his role in Fences, Denzel Washington challenged a common narrative, one that blames racial discrimination for every missed opportunity. When the host suggested his character Troy was a victim of racism, Denzel didn't just disagree, he flipped the entire perspective. He acknowledged the reality of racism, but emphasized that personal accountability and talent also play a huge role. It was a raw, eye-opening moment that reminded everyone not to reduce complex lives to a single issue.
Anybody's life, it's in a way, he personifies the Black American experience. He's somebody who, had he not faced the racial discrimination, he could have been a great athlete, a star. But because of that, he ended up a garbage collector. And perhaps this self-destructiveness, was it caused by racial discrimination? And is that the effect of racial discrimination on people?
Here's the thing you got to remember. When you talk about racial and you talk about discrimination, maybe, what if he just wasn't good enough? See, it's so easy to just say, oh, it's because of this. It's because of racism. Oh, I didn't get the job because of that. Maybe you weren't good enough. Maybe, like his wife says, you were just too old. She says, why don't you just admit it? You were too old. He's the one that's hung up on,
Don't you think it is the problem is the racial discrimination?
The right word is not is, was.
Was.
And that's not the only problem. That's one of the problems. Now, you can make it the only one if you'd like, but it's not the only one. But that's a fact. That's a fact. They couldn't play basketball in the NBA. Well, their grandfathers couldn't walk on the sidewalk, or they were slaves. So each generation is trying to do better for the next generation.
Denzel on choosing directors, culture over race. During a candid conversation, Denzel Washington didn't just address why a Black director was needed, he flipped the script entirely. He pushed past the surface debate about race and brought the focus to culture and lived experience. Calm, clear, and unapologetic, he made it impossible to ignore the deeper truth behind authentic storytelling.
So why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have?
It's not
produced this
color,
work?
it's culture.
Explain the difference, because I think we're in a
Steven
space
Spielberg did Schindler's List.
Right now. Mm-hmm.
Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas, right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List. But they're cultural differences. You know, I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like. That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference. So it's the culture.
Denzel on overcoming Hollywood's doubts. Denzel tackles the myths about black films and Hollywood bias head on. He's heard every excuse but sees only opportunity. Speaking from real experience with the Oscars, he refuses to let unfairness hold him back. His advice? Stop looking for excuses and keep pushing forward.
You hear often that black actors, black movies don't play well overseas. Is that the truth, or is that an excuse?
I've heard everything. And what I hear keeps changing. Because they used to say it didn't sell over here. Then it does. Then they say it doesn't sell in the South. Then it does. Well, it doesn't sell in Europe. Then it does. So I just keep pushing. Well, what an opportunity I have to prove them wrong.
Happening at a time when the Oscars are being criticized for lack of diversity. I'm just wondering, what do you think about that?
I don't have to think about it. I've lived it. I've been the guy at the Oscars without my name being called. I've been the guy at the Oscars when my name is called. I've been the guy at the Oscars when everybody thought they was going to call my name and they didn't. So I've lived it.
So what would you say to the people who are looking at this process and saying it's unfair?
Yeah, and so what? You gonna give up? If you're looking for an excuse, you'll find one.
In race.
You can find it wherever you like. You can't live like that. You just do the best you can do.
Denzel on holding leaders responsible. When asked about the president's plan to build a wall, Denzel stresses the need for unity. He urges Americans to demand accountability from their leaders and insists that working together is the only way forward, because division benefits no one.
Well, back here.
Okay, I see you.
What do you think about the huge fence our president wants to build with the Hispanic world? And how many fences did you have to go through to win this award?
What?
Sorry.
What'd she say?
Okay.
How do I feel about the fence he's about to build?
Yeah.
And,
How many-
you know, I think, this is what I think. I think we as Americans better learn to unite. I think we as Americans need to put our elected officials' feet to the fire and demand that they work together, or they won't get back in office.
Denzel on what truly matters. Denzel shares a simple truth. You can't take anything with you when you go. It's not about what you have, but what you give. Whether it's love, patience, talent, or money. The real measure is how you help others and make life better while you're here.
And I may be wrong, I get the feeling that not necessarily in terms of party politics or good, but you're quite a political person. Quite a connected person, quite an involved person.
Well, you know, I'm for trying to make things better. I mean, I look at it like this. You know, I even say it in the movie. You never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. You know, you can't take it with you.
Yeah.
And be it money, talent, patience, love, whatever your gift is, you can't take it with you. So what are you going to do with it when you're here? Who have you lifted up? Who have you made better? Who have you helped out? Not how much do you have, but what you have. Some people have love, some have patience, some have money, some have fame. Whatever your talent is, we all have something. Help your fellow man. I mean, that's the way I look at it. At the end of the day, none of us are perfect. You know, none of us are angels, but you do the best you can with what you have.
Denzel on facing his struggles honestly. Denzel opens up about his younger years, clear about not going off the rails, but admitting to anger and fights fueled by personal pain. It wasn't about alcohol alone, but dealing with confusion and frustration as a young man finding his way.
your rules. But one part of this rule, of course, you didn't have to renounce, and that's the alcoholic part of it, because at one point in your life, you were in danger of becoming an alcoholic, weren't you?
Me? Right now, as we speak.
When you were younger.
When I was younger, I guess we all were in danger. We didn't know it, but
I mean, in your case, you were a young man when you went off the rails.
no, I didn't go that far off the rails. Somebody told you I did.
No, let me see all the research and all the articles written about it.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ah, I better read them.
Father left home.
Yeah.
When your parents were divorced.
Right.
Then in fact, then you started going out drinking, mixing with the wrong mom.
Well, I was mixing with the wrong mob before they got divorced. But no, I guess it had more to do, not so much drinking, but just being angry about it and lashing out, getting into more fights. Yeah, getting into fights and stuff like that. Just a young kid, I guess, not understanding what's going on and, just taking it out on whoever's close by.
Denzel on race relations and real change. When pressed about politics, Denzel keeps his distance but gets real on race relations. He says change isn't about laws or leaders. It's about people stepping up, talking, and genuinely engaging with each other. Real progress starts with us.
What was the question?
Well, that was a question. Who you wound up supporting in the election? Presidential election.
None of your business.
None of my business?
None of your business.
Well, I'm only asking because the story was online, but that's okay. Let me ask you this. I want to just ask you, though, about the issue of race relations, because the film touches upon that. Right now, under President Obama, over the last 8 years, in your mind, have race relations improved under his leadership?
Race relationships have to do with race relationships. You're white or whatever you are, I'm black or whatever I am. We're standing here talking now. That's how we get things done. You can't legislate love. The President of the United States can't legislate us into liking each other. We have to step forward and ask questions about each other and engage. There's no law that says, because I'm president, you all got to get along now. So it's up to us.
Denzel on fixing ourselves before the system. Denzel points out the real work starts within our communities. By the time the legal system acts, the damage is already done. Change begins at home, not just in the courts.
It was something I read where you talked about your people from Mount Vernon saying that, they've done 40 years in the penitentiary together. So, and, incarceration rates in America has been a problem, especially as opposed to minorities. And Roman delves into the issues around the legal system. Do you think we've made any headway?
I think it's more important to make headway in our own house. By the time the system comes into play, the damage is done. They're not locking up 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington doesn't speak to impress. He speaks to enlighten. In a world full of noise, his voice cuts through like a blade of truth. From late-night talk shows to Ivy League stages, his words have the power to still a room, inspire a movement, and shift a mindset. He's not just one of the greatest actors of our time, he's one of the greatest speakers, thinkers, and leaders. And if you really listen, Denzel isn't just talking about life, he's giving you the playbook.